stock market weekly chart review for the week of December 5th through December 9th. Changing this up, attempting to really maximize the Thinkorswim platform. So this is not the final result of how the future recordings of the stock market weekly chart review will go, but this is the direction it's going to go. So right now we're looking at a 6-month weekly chart. So each bar representing 1 week, and we got a total of 6 months of data for a variety of different markets here, with all 4 of these being basically the total stock market. So take a look at the dollar over the last this is the last 6 months of data on the dollar. Now this is a 200 period moving average. So, you know, when you have a daily chart, this would be a 200-day moving average. So this is for this context, this is the 200 period moving average. So on the weekly chart, we see that the dollar is still quite a ways away from that 200 period moving average. On the daily chart, it would be right in here. And we see that overall, the dollar has been moving down, maybe catching some support right in here. The thing I really like about the weekly charts is easier to see what's going on in the big picture. We also see here over on TLT, that represents 20-year bonds, that even though started off the month kind of moving up, like hitting this top here, and moved down for did I say month? Sorry about that. 6 months. Pivoting right here and has been moving up, but maybe seems to be hitting this right here at the beginning of the 6 months. We almost have a reverse of that candle. Seems to be hitting this resistance right here. Generally speaking, what's been happening is if the TLT has been moving down, the stock market's been moving down. And you can kind of see that right in here. Right? So it's almost sort of a reflection of that right there. And anyway, so we'll look at gold. Gold is over that 200 period moving average, even on the weekly. I think on the daily it's just bumping against it. But we are right here into some resistance area. You can see where it's been here before and pivoted and sold off. Really rallied up above that. Now we'll see if it's going to have the gumption to keep moving higher. Generally speaking, as the dollar goes down, gold is going up. And perhaps a more accurate way to say it is, as your dollar goes down, it requires more dollars to buy the same ounce of gold. Because when people say gold is going up or gold is going down, the amount of grams in an ounce never changes. It's just the amount of fiat currency required to purchase 1 ounce or X amount of grams, as the case may be. Crude oil, over the last 6 months, crude oil has just been going down, almost touching this 200 period moving average here, and really kind of was getting stuck around the 80 to 90 range, but broke through that, and now it seems like 80 is this new ceiling there. And we see it pivoted right here before. It seems to be giving it some resistance there now. This is Bitcoin futures, and you know, I really wish that Thinkorswim, TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab, whoever owns Thinkorswim, I wish that they allowed access to the actual Bitcoin, but they only allow access to Bitcoin futures. And then I was thinking about it, I'm like, you know, what does it really matter? The state that I live in, the nanny state of Hawaii, doesn't even give me enough freedom to speculatively trade on Bitcoin. So you know, it's just gonna be the futures for these videos, so I don't have to be switching back and forth too much. For the moment, at least. Maybe I might change my mind. But Bitcoin, we see had a big drop here, and continuing just to rally up, touch this 200 period moving average, dropped down, kind of went sideways, dropped down more, So I'm expecting more sideways drop down with some kind of fake rally up type of thing. It might do something different, but that's what it's been doing for like the last almost at least 6 months, maybe more than 6 months. So what is it? Past history doesn't indicate future performance, but hey, sometimes the patterns repeat. Now the VIX, which is, whether it's 100% accurate or not, is known as a fear index. So fear in the market had been moving down, and it hit this low point of a little bit under 19. We had a bit of a spike up in this weekly candle, but it's still under 25. Like it's still down here in the low 20s. It's not up here by these 30s anymore. So at the moment, fear is relatively low. If these indexes, which accumulatively between all four of them basically encompass the whole stock market, if these keep moving down, then we'll probably see this move up. SPX, in the last 6 months on the weekly, we got a high, we got a lower high. We do have a low, lower low. And it bounced off this 200 period moving average and seemed to be hitting the same resistance area as it has before, kind of pull back. So let's see how the next week unfolds on that. Bit of a similar look with the Dow Jones Industrial, except for we have a high and we got a higher high, but we do have a low and we have a lower low. And so that's kind of where we stand. The Dow Jones, kind of these value stocks have done it a little bit better than some that make up in the S&P, and definitely the NASDAQ, more of the technology sector. We see high, lower high, lower high, and that low, lower low. And, you could say, well, is this a low, higher low, higher low? I guess it depends on the time frame, but overall, it's just been really in this down market. It's holding up right above that 200 period moving average. And it's not looking like this. And this is made up of technology and stuff like this. So I think that's right, why it's right in the middle. Russell 2000, this is like small mid-cap stocks. And we see that it was banging on that 200 period moving average, broke above it, but couldn't stay above it, and then failed. So giving us a high, lower high, but not a lower high. It's might be going a little sideways. And look at that, sort of like range bound. Where is that range? It might be getting range bound right through here. But there was a big sell off here. It's really kind of getting tight to that that 200 period moving average. Let's take a quick look at the 9 different sectors, the 9 major sectors that make up the stock market. That are 9 different major sectors that comprise these various stocks. That maybe every type of stock falls into here, maybe not, but these are definitely the biggest sectors of the stock market. Technology. We see that high, lower high, kind of, here's a top right here, a little bit over that. So, and we got our 200 period moving average moving up. Healthcare has been one of the stronger sectors out of this, significantly over that 200 period moving average, which is sloping up. We touched here, seems to be making some support, and it's been on a pretty strong rally since around October. Then financial sector started off around that 200 period moving average, rallied up, basically came all the way back down to this 200 period moving average, rallied up with getting stuck right here in the same 36 area. And maybe we're going to start seeing a bit of consolidation between 36 and 34. XLI Industrials looks kind of similar at the beginning of the 6 months as the financials. Rallies up, comes down, tests this, rallies up. So all throughout the 6 months, very similar pattern unfolding with just different numbers here for XLI. And with sloping, gently sloping up 200 period moving average, a little bit stronger sloping up 200 period moving average. These 200 period moving averages kind of show me in the big trend of this weekly chart, things, which direction things have been moving. Basic materials. Basic materials, we're ending, we're higher than where we started from in here, and 80 seemed to be this resistance point in the past, but right now it broke out above that and coming down to retest that. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in that basic materials. Energy, with a pretty strongly sloping up 200 period moving average. Energy, we got this 200 period moving average. It's been moving sideways for a while, and now it's kind of starting to slope up. And no surprise that we see prices almost have went sideways. Almost, right? They opened up the 6 months ago right here, closed here now. But you just looking at the candles, you see it's kind of in this range at this moment for the 6 months, kind of range bound between right in there with seems like it's catching some support right in here, a little bit of resistance right in here. So maybe since this is sloping up, maybe we'll see it kind of stuck in this area between about maybe 80 to 90. Consumer discretionary, we also see a moving up. So again, this is a big picture. 6 months. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna figure out how to have a weekly chart with the actual 200-day moving average, because I know with the 200-day moving average, this is way below. But the candles showing us this had been moving sideways, come up about here, and then we're basically, besides this part right here, we're just going sideways. We've been going sideways for quite a few weeks right here under that 200 period moving average. Consumer staples, volatile, but up, not a strong uptrend like this. Went up, dropped down quite a bit, and back up, but it's possibly hitting some resistance right in this area. XLU, which is utilities, rallied up, dropped down to this 200 period moving average, and then rallying up again, and basically in the last 6 months kind of went sideways also. But we do see this sloping up. A bit of a slope up here with real estate, but we see it rallied up, really sold off, now kind of rallied up, but below that. And the one that really has a significant downtrend, 1 out of 9, would be retail. Retail closed here, almost basically, if you're just looking at where prices closed at the beginning of the month, beginning of 6 months ago, prices closed at the end of 6 months, kind of went sideways with some volatility. And then the big trend seems to be moving down. So what might that tell us for the overall stock market? Well, besides looking at everything that I've been looking at here, obviously I'm seeing a variety of things and kind of constantly looking at this stuff. But overall, I think not most probable, but what would be the least surprising to me is if we see a sideways market. If we see a breakout of the bear market into a sideways market. The second scenario that would be least surprising to me would be a continuation of the bear market after maybe a little bit of a sideways market. The third, stock market can only go one of 3 directions, right? Up, down, or sideways. The up is the least likely of the scenario unless the Treasury or the Federal Reserve or something like that does something like quantitative easing, even though they might not call it quantitative easing. And they might try to put lipstick on a pig and say it's not quantitative easing, it's nothing like quantitative easing. But if it gives the same result of quantitative easing, it doesn't matter what name, it doesn't matter what they do. If it drives the stock market into another bull market, then that's what I think will bring the bull market back. But without that, I see a sideways to down market. And I'm gonna cut it short because as I mentioned, I have something else that I'm honing in here, but it's not completely ready yet, and it is something like this. Maybe I should have tried this out today to just to kick the game off, but nonetheless I didn't, and this is what potentially I'm looking at for weekly chart. Right, we have a 3-month with daily candles, 1 year with a weekly, and 3 years with a monthly. So this is the really big picture. This is a smaller, right? Like one candle of these is made up of 4 of these. So these 4 made up this. And this is made up of these 5. So just trying to figure out what's going to be the best way. I mean, these are things that I look at on my own, but what I'm trying to do is figure out fast, effective way to create these videos so it gives you and I the biggest bang for the buck. So get ready for next weekly chart review. We'll see how much better it has been, and going forward into this week, I should be more on top of those daily chart videos as I'm looking at tweaking those too, getting everything almost set up. Okay, you guys have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.